Hi and welcome back to Connor's Chemistry. What I thought I'd do is just go through some key content in terms of chemistry, so I thought we'd start with the atom. And remember, you can't really trust atoms because they do make up everything. So, in terms of the atom, atoms are made up of three different subatomic particles. We have protons, we have neutrons, and we have the electrons. Each of these have a very specific charge and mass. Now both of these, the charge and the mass, are things that you're going to have to do in your exam. The exam question could ask you to complete a table similar to this, or it could be to assume the knowledge that you know the charges and masses of these three subatomic particles. So before we get to that, let's draw our atom. Now the most common atom that we draw is normally helium. So helium, He, has 4 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Now this number is its relative atomic mass. We'll go through that in a second. This number is the number of protons that atom has, and we'll kind of reinforce that in a moment as well. So if we know there are 4 subatomic particles in the nucleus of a helium atom, I know from this number 2 there are 2 protons, so we're going to use those and put a little plus in them. These other 2 are what we call neutrons, and they have neutral charge, so they kind of have no charge whatsoever. This bottom number also stands for the number of electrons, because in an atom the number of positive charges always equals the number of negative charges. So we know this has got 2 electrons. We draw them in this shell or energy level, and I like to always draw the little minus sign there just to remind me that actually the charge on an electron is negative. Now I know for a fact the neutrons have nothing or no charge, neutral charge, which must mean my proton, think of the P, is positive. So that must mean then the nucleus of every atom is positively charged. It only contains positive charges. Any other subatomic particle it contains has a neutral charge. So for example, back to our helium atom, it has 4 subatomic particles in its nucleus, these 4 here, and then it has 2 of those 4 are protons, and it also stands for the number of electrons. Now this number at the bottom here is sometimes called atomic number or the proton number. Now in your AQA exam you will be given a periodic table, and the key will state these facts. This top number is the relative atomic mass. Okay, this takes us to our last column. Now all the mass in an atom is found in the nucleus. Okay, so if our relative atomic mass is 4, I know each of these must be worth 1. So the mass of 1 proton is 1, and the mass of 1 electron is also 1. These electrons, we say, have a negligible mass, or nearly 0. Now if you can remember that word, negligible, brilliant. If not, nearly 0 is fine. These are the subatomic particles that will do all the moving. Okay, when we think about bonding, when we think about things changing and reacting together, these are the things that will move. So this table is very important in terms of charges of subatomic particles. It's very important in terms of mass, okay, because this is something that you can be questioned on in the exam. If we do a bit of an example, if we think of lithium, which is 7 and 3, this would tell us there are 7 subatomic particles in its nucleus, made up of those protons and neutrons. 3 of them are going to be protons. So I take these numbers away from each other. If I've got a 7 to start off with, take away that 3, I know 4 of them must be the neutrons. And I know for a fact our positives and negatives will equal, as this is an atom, so I've got 3 electrons. Okay, so if I drew that, I would have 2 on my first shell and 1 on my second. Okay, and we'll come on to this drawing of electron structures in another video. Thanks very much.